used to wanna be here, living like this.
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing my first breakdown my production video. Today's video is going to be about the teens, and as you can see, I finally got the screen recording set up, and so you guys will be able to follow me in the Logic session as I show you guys each stem that goes into the song. Yeah, pretty much I'm just going to go through each instrument group, I guess. I've color coded them very nicely for you guys, and I'm just going to show you guys what goes into the song without giving away too much. I'm going to first start off with the drums down here. So I took these live drums from Splice, and then I layered a kick and a snare and a crash over them. They're very consistent. There's not that much change in them, which I like. Right? So that happens pretty much throughout the entire song, not really anything changing or interesting about it. What's really cool is, so this song, as you guys know, talks about wanting to go back in time. So I took a clock ticking, reversed it, and then kind of added that in for some percussion. If you listen in your headphones, you can kind of hear it going back and forth between sides. When you combine that together, it's very light, but you can still hear it a little bit. So then that's that. And then the next thing I did was the bass. So we have this going on. Let me just mute what we're not doing right now. So I wanted to add some keys just to give it more texture. So we have this. Right? And these keys I just took from Serum. And then this synth, I was actually looking through Splice, and I was looking for different presets, and I found this. And the first chord is, so basically Splice will give you a sample of the synth before you download it, just so you know what it sounds like. And this first chord you're gonna hear is what it played, and I was like, that's a really cool chord. Let me figure out what it is. And eventually I got it. And this is what you get. Right? Really weird jazzy chords. So then when you put that all together, it sounds like this. And then I'm going to move on to this, to these little things. So I'm going to start off with this, actually. This is just some texture that I added, so if I can find where it came from. Yeah, so this is where it came from. I was just singing riffs into the microphone. And then I just added this effect I have called Portal, which is basically, I think it's called a granular delay. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm pretty sure what it's called. And it just gives it more of like, it makes it weird. And then I use it mostly for textures rather than like main parts. So yeah, you can hear it here. And then I added some reverb on it to make it sound more spacey. And then this one is also the same riffs with a different Portal preset. If I extend this, you can see the original audio. I didn't like how it went all the way to the right, so I just took one where they're both even, and then kind of repeated it like that. And as you can see here, this is like a speed up. fade in, is what you call it. And then I just repeated that throughout. I think I put a tremolo on it as well just to make it more separated. But yeah, you combine that with everything else and it sounds really cool. And then there's this vocal thing that I recorded because I felt like it had to be there. This thing. I just thought that was very cool and it had to kind of helps it move along a little bit. And then there are these uhs that I also recorded, just me going and then I pitched them up, I think. Yeah. And so these are just little impacts. Oh, they're muted. Let's move on to the other instruments we have before I move on to the really cool textures. So in the choruses, I added this guitar strum. And that kind of goes along with everything. And then I added this pad that kind of sits in the higher range. And so when you put that all together, it sounds like this. Just kind of help fills in the space more, you know? And then I added these swells. Just to give more effect, you know? And yeah, just those small little swells kind of add a lot to the song, I feel like. And then if we go to the end, we have this high pad. That, yeah, it stays on that one note. And again, that gives it just more texture, more depth. Right? And then, so yeah, that's pretty much most of the instrumental actually. Now we can move on to the fun textures. So these are like are guitars that are playing in like a reverse pedal, I think. It's one of the presets on Logic, but I thought it was really cool to add. So we have that, and we have this. I'm just going to skip around each of them so you can hear. And then I'm pretty sure some of these repeat after. So those are all the little guitar textures. I thought those were really cool to add just here and there. Like, you know, we have here. You can hear it slightly, but it just adds a little sauce, you know? And then after that, here's some vocal textures. We have this. That is the lead. The don't know where to go from here. That's that lead, but in Portal, and I just took a certain part from the thing it gave me and put it in. Thought it was really cool. And we have this as well. Just a little bit, like I think it's phase and some filters, whatever. But it just makes a little very cool, in my opinion. And then the last vocal texture. Just a little riff, but with some effects on that. And then here we have some other textures that aren't any instrument, I don't think. Found that on Splice. I thought that was really cool to layer over these. And then we have this going on as well. Just a little kind of riser thing that goes along with this. And then we have this texture. I think I also find that on Splice. And then it's layered on top of this. Another little riser. That's really fun. And yeah, that's pretty much all the rest of the textures. And then we just have some sound effects here. We have like the lighter and the exhale. Before I do this, actually, if you're not listening on headphones, you should low-key go put on headphones because it's kind of cool. So I'm going to give you a second. Okay, so now that you have headphones on, you can hear that the breath kind of goes from left to right, like the smoke is like moving. Play that again. It's very subtle in the production, in the mix overall, but I think it adds so much. So yeah, those are all the little textures and added things that I have. Now we can move on to the vocals. As you can see, there's not that much. I would say, I mean, 26 tracks I don't think is enough, is a lot for me. But yeah, we'll move on to these. So for the refrains, I wanted something spacey. So what I did was I did a double in the center. Well, I did one lead, a double in the center, and then two on the left and the right. So we have this.
Don't know who I really am. Don't know where to go from here.
Oh, you can hear my dog in the background. Okay, ignore that. Anyway, so in the verses,
Feeling like I'm wasting every second of my time. Feeling like I'm living every single fear of mine. Feeling like my failures are a part of my design. But I just say,
just have that last syllable kind of repeat after it. I like to do this thing where I take the the lead, reverse it, add a reverb, and then reverse it again. So it's kind of like a reverse reverb on like the lead. And then I added some phaser on it just to give it more of a texture. And you add that on top of this.
never sober even when I choose to.
It kind of gives it a cool little effect. Moving on to this over here.
It's on everything I used to have.
So there's a little vocoder moment here, just very subtle. Right here.
Everything I used to have.
Just gives it a little bit more
It's
sauce.
on everything I used to have.
And then we have this over here.
Miss the simpler times. Wish I could rewind and make every second last.
Here I did the same thing with the reversing the lead, putting reverb, and then reversing again.
Rewind.
On rewind, because you know, reverse rewind.
Wish I could rewind and make every.
And then we have this thing. Just me riffing on the last, and then adding some effects on it.
'Cause time went by so quick.
Yeah, so that's that. And then in the second refrain, something really, really cool. Here, want.
One.
Yeah, so as you can see, everything cuts out here. And if you didn't notice beforehand, which I kind of made it so it wouldn't be too noticeable, but like if you really listen, you can. The tempo actually slows down a little bit over here. You can see, goes down to what, 77 from 83. So that's like 6. Okay, yeah, it goes down 6 beats per minute, 6 beats per minute. Yeah, and then it's just very subtle. I just wanted something different there, just to give it, you know, something extra. Right? And so that's really cool. I found that really interesting. And then here, just more BGVs. Right after this. Right? And then, that's pretty much it for those. But for the choruses, there's a bit more of a stack. So we have the chorus, like the lead.
And I don't wanna be here living like this.
And then we have a double.
And I don't wanna be here living like this.
Very subtle. And then we have an octave.
Be here living like this.
And then a left and a right.
Be here living like this.
And I wanted these vocals to be very tight just to give it a different texture than like loose vocals would. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then at the end, there's just me ad-libbing and stuff.
I don't know why I exist. Keep my current routine. Take me back to the teens.
Right? And then what's really cool, I actually added these literally like 3 days before I sent it off to be mastered, are these format shifted vocals that I added. Without it, boring. With it, and yeah, that's pretty much the teens. That's pretty much everything that goes into the song. Again, I'm not going to show you like every effect that I put just because I don't want to bore you guys with that, plus give away all my secrets. But I'm glad I was able to show you guys what went into the song like itself overall. And yeah, I'm so glad I was able to get the screen recording set up too, because I hated just like recording on my phone and then like going back and forth. It felt very like counterproductive and annoying, but I'm very glad you guys are able to see like me going into the file and then like actually playing each thing for you guys. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and keep an eye out for the next one.
I don't wanna be here living